Peace and love. How are you? I thought it would be nice today to do a lover's reading or a soulmate reading. And I thought it would be nice to have to call our angels to help us and assist us with soulmate unions, whether it be the union with someone else, masculine and feminine energy, or it be the union with ourselves. Because we're constantly always coming into union with ourselves. So, if I can get this candle open. So I thought it'd be nice we'll burn a blue candle to facilitate that energetic connection. Thank you, angels, for your presence. We ask for your continuous help and assistance as we come into union with ourselves. And I have my little burner here. And I light this here for us today. Little small ritual, giving thanks to our angels for protection. And we ask for their guidance and help in coming into union with another or with ourselves. And I also have some crystals here to facilitate high vibrational energies. This is selenite. Look how beautiful that is, how that glows. One of my favorites. I normally keep this beside my bed. I think it helps with dream state. This is dambarite. I've had this for so many years. Very beautiful piece. This is also one of the ones that I keep beside my bed. Certain ones have a very soothing, calming energy. This is the full piece here. Piece of dambarite. Gorgeous piece. And last but not least, a piece of angelite that I've had for many years as well. I might have shown this one before, I don't know. But look at that sparkle. And I also keep this one beside my bed. It's really fragile on the bottom there, if you can see. So this is not a crystal that you want to pick up too often, but beautiful angelic energy as we're calling on our angels for assistance at this time. I'm going to light an incense cone, my favorite thing to do to lighten up the energy. Thank you, Spirit, for being with us. Let that burn up a little bit. How are you? How have you been doing? How are things going in your life? How's your connection to Spirit? How is your spirit? How have you been holding up in these days, in these weeks, in these months? We give thanks for the blessings we see and the blessings we don't see, for the connections we have and the connections that we don't have, the ones that we continue with and the ones that we're moving on from as we move into the next year, as we move into the new year. Today I'll be using the Essential Oil Oracle cards for this reading. It will do 3 cards for the masculine energy and 3 cards for the feminine energy, and then I'll pull an oracle card in the end. But like I said, we give thanks for connections that we do have that are still in our lives. And we thank those that have come into our lives for just a moment in time, that have shared wisdom with us, that have shared lessons with us. We've learned from them, hopefully they've learned from us. And maybe those connections are still with us, but those ties and those lessons and those moments and that bit that we glean from them will still be with us. And so we give thanks for them as we move into the new year. And we leave things in the past. And there's nothing wrong with leaving things in the past. We say thank you for those who have been in our lives. And we say thank you to those who are continuously in our lives. But when things are negative and when things are harmful to our spirits, let's let them go with ease. And let's let them go with love. We don't hold anybody hostage. We don't hold their energy hostage. We don't make them feel a certain way for not wanting to hold on. We don't want to hold on either, So we easily let things go that aren't the best for us. As we move into the new year, we're asking Spirit to help us with that, to help us disengage from connections that don't serve us well, right? And one way that we know if connections are serving us well, and I talk about it a lot of times, is when it's reciprocity, when it's an equal give and take, okay? That's what we're looking for in our romantic connections. That's what we're looking for in our friendships. That's what we're looking for in our work connections. That's what we're looking for. And so if we found ourselves in a position where you're giving more to the situation than you're returning, not only is it harmful and hurtful and painful, it's detrimental to the spirit in our movement forward. Because we're always moving towards ascension, which is getting to the next level spiritually, getting to the next dimension, whatever it may be, whatever you have it in your heart for it to be for you. And so if we're continuously holding on and we're continuously giving our energy to connections that aren't providing us with any type of nourishment, we're not saying that we need people to feed us, but we're saying if we put our energy into something, we want it to be given back in return. That's how we know that it's an exchange. We're trying to do an exchange. But if it's a one-sided exchange, if you're putting your energy out to someone and it's not coming back, there's something wrong with that. And we need to look at that and we need to say, wait a minute, is this where I want to be? Can I grow if I'm constantly giving my energy to other people? And this can be for many situations. Can I grow if I'm constantly giving my energy to other people? If it doesn't return back to me, how am I nourished? Because now I've given away energy that I hope to have it return and it hasn't returned back to me, you know? So it depletes the spiritual body, it depletes the emotional body, it depletes the physical body. And then we found ourselves in situations where we're resentful to others because they can't return what we've given to them. But in reality, everybody is here to live their life. Everybody is here to have their journey. And we give thanks for that, right? We don't hold anybody else accountable for what we're experiencing here. We look to ourselves for those answers. And yes, we make connections with people, but we always have respect for the journey that other people are going through, right? And so we always want to do that. We always want to be in a state of having respect. If somebody doesn't want to engage, if it's a situation where you found out that a romantic connection is not for you, then walk away and say, thank you, Most High, for that lesson. Thank you for that opportunity to open up my heart again. Because what happens is when you open up your heart to people who don't reciprocate it and don't understand it and don't feel it and don't see it and they don't in turn, it's not the same. It causes you to slowly close your heart up, right? And so on this channel, we're working with open hearts. We want to always find ways to have our hearts as open as possible so that we can communicate with our angels, with our guides, and with the Most High. And so when you're engaging with people who do not reciprocate your feelings, the energy that you're giving them, it causes you to slowly start to close your heart back up. And what that does is you become resentful to them. You start to feel bad about yourself. You start to feel bad about your circumstances. You start to feel like you're not good enough. You start to feel like they don't get it and the reality is we are all here on our journeys. We all come in contact with people. We all have lessons to learn from them. Some we stay with for a while. Some we leave within weeks. And that's just the bottom line. But we want to be open to connections that are real. We want to be open to connections that are healthy. We want to be open to connections that are healing. And we only can do that with our hearts, right? So let's go ahead and get some energy for the feminine. Thank you, Spirit. As we move into the new year, as we think about loving ourselves more, because that's really what it all is. It's all a journey of loving the self, falling in love with the self, being your own partner, the masculine and feminine energy, the balancing of the two, right? And so when we get there and we're working towards that, we're working towards partnership, if that's what it is for you. Because some of us will not come into union with anyone, and there's something wrong with that. We have to get out the idea there's something wrong with being alone or, or going through this journey on your own when you really can just balance yourself and you can find fulfillment in those ways as well, right? So, Spirit, thank you so much as we move into union with ourselves. And for some of us, as we look to move into union with others. And for people who are already in union together, what messages do you have for us as we head into the new year? Thank you, angels. Spirit, what message do you have for the feminine energy? Thank you. Melaleuca, evolution, Siberian fir, acceptance, and dill, clearing. On the bottom, we had independence. And that is relates to that reading I just did for the Divine Feminine Energy. If you look back on that, all my readings are timeless. You can watch them at any time. Look at the title of them. The title will kind of give you an idea. It's no clickbait. The title is really what the reading is about. Watch that reading about independence and how we're moving into that state. That doesn't mean that we're going to always be alone. It means that's what we're focusing on at this time. Okay? And so on the independence, this is Pettigrain. It says, I am just like my mother or my father. That's a trigger statement where we're looking at other people's relationships and we're looking at what we saw when we grew up and we're looking at things that didn't go wrong and we're saying things will always be this way for me because that's what I saw beforehand. I grew up in these type of environments. This is the only thing that I know. No wonder things aren't working out for me. No wonder I can't find a partner that loves me. No wonder things never go my way, right? So these are trigger statements. And so the true statement is, I am free to choose. We are free to choose the life that we live. We are free to choose the environments that we want to be in. We are free to choose the type of words that we tell ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. Those are choices. And it says, you are ready to break free of the conditioning that has bound you so that you may continue a journey of healing and growth. And that's all it's about, a journey of healing and growth. And so we give thanks for that. So we're going to put that there at the top for the feminine energy. Let's look at the masculine energy and see what they're working through. Thank you, Spirit. What messages do you have for the masculine and this is just energetic, okay? This can be for same sex. This could be just for one person who's trying to balance their masculine and feminine. Let's get that straight, you know? So thank you, Spirit. What energies do you have for the masculine? What are they working on? Or what am I working on, realistically, as we move into the new year? As we're moving away from things that have been harmful to us, as we're trying to look at our shadows, as we're trying to heal from trauma. What messages do you have for us? Thank you, Spirit. We have cleansing, purification. We have basil, inspiration. And we have black pepper, integrate. And we'll look at those some more. And here on the bottom we have rosemary, wisdom. And so this is the main energy. I always read that bottom card as some of the main energy that we're working with the reading. And the trigger statement is, it doesn't make sense. And that's the thing too, and we've talked about that, what is our idea of wisdom? Okay? Where we are looking at logic and we're looking at wisdom. Sometimes those are two different things, right? Sometimes things don't make sense. That doesn't mean they're not true. And sometimes we have to look at things a little bit deeper to find where the sense is. And we don't discredit that intuitive wisdom, those things that are inherent in us when it comes to making decisions. When we've built this type of structure around us that tells us this is the way you do things and this is the way you don't do it and this is the way you do it and this is the way you don't do it. And so we're trying to step out of that way, out of that mindset. And the true statement is, I see the bigger picture. Because sometimes things right on that level, in certain ways, they don't make sense. And you don't see how things coming together. And you don't see why you're working through certain situations or why you're going through certain things. But if you sit down for a moment, or if you can come out of it a little bit, you start to have better understanding of where Spirit has put you or where you've put yourself, right? And it says, you are moving towards a deeper level of understanding from knowledge to wisdom. Take time to absorb the lessons. And this is something important to understand. It's kind of what I just said. Knowledge and wisdom are two different things. Spirituality is wisdom to me. I don't know if it's a lot of book reading. It can be. Of course, you want to learn, the history of certain things. And people who are Christians, they read the Bible for inspiration. And, it's nothing wrong with reading holy text. And I'm not talking about that because we always are in a prom, always learning. We always want more knowledge. But we don't want to mistake those two. because we can miss out on important things that aren't noticed by everybody. Because knowledge is kind of gained through the lessons of life, and not just going through the lessons, pushing our way through them, running through them. It's going through the lessons of life, sitting with them and learning from them, and then applying that knowledge, what we've learned, to our movements forward. So the knowledge can be found in the books, but the wisdom is found in the school of life, right? So we want to be engaged with the school of life. So let's look at the feminine energy here. Melaleuca, things will never change, trigger statement. And that's the same thing here as the pentagram when it says, I am just like my mother, trigger statement. And so it says, the imbalances and relationships that have been keeping you down are no longer needed. You are ready to transform. And the true statement is, I attract only what is for my highest good. Let's move on. Let's move on from the people that have hurt us. Let's move on from us hurting ourselves by allowing ourselves to be in situations where people that, with people that have hurt us, or in situations that have hurt us. Let's stop thinking that things won't get better. Let's believe in a higher purpose for our lives. Let's believe in a higher destination for our being. Let's start to see the beauty and the greatness in who we are. Let's start to look in the mirror and say, I'm loving what I see. Let's start believing that you're going to come in contact with people who are going to love what they see, right? Let's stop looking at the past as a way to inform our future movements forward. Of course, we want to look at the past when it comes to not making, mistakes. And it's nothing, we always want to have, look back to the past for certain reasons. But we don't want to hold on to certain negative ideas about ourselves, certain negative ideas about what we bring into the world. We don't want to bring that with us forward. We don't want people to tell us who we are, and we bring that with us forward. We don't want to have the baggage of our own, negative ways of looking at ourselves, along with other people's ways of looking at us too. We're carrying too much when we start to have that heavy stuff on our necks, on our shoulders, and on our backs. So we're moving from that here. I attract only what is for my highest good. Angels, thank you so much for protecting me. Please put me in situations that are best for my spirit. Please help me move through these negative situations I'm going through. Because we're still going through things, and we're still healing from things, right? But we want to start seeing the beauty in ourselves so that we can start attracting that towards us, right? And it says, Siberian fur. We must remember the trigger statement. And the true statement is, I am free of the habits that do not serve me. Lay down the armor passed down to you from your family. Wow. Release habits that are not serving you and forgive on behalf of generations past. And so this is powerful to me because all these cards are exactly the same. They're telling me the same thing. You saw me shuffle. As women, we tend to have a lot of burdens, not only men too, masculine and feminine energy, I'm sorry. But sometimes we can carry the energy of our mother. Sometimes we can carry the energy of our grandmother. Sometimes we carry the energy of our great-great-grandmother. And for some of us who have history that can somewhat lend itself to being painful, harmful, negative, hurtful, all those words, we have those hurts and we have those things and those protections that we keep in place from allowing us to move forward with our lives into the future. My mother's gone now. My grandmother's passed on into the next realm. My ancestors, they want me to live a life that's different than what they lived, obviously, right? Because my ancestors wouldn't have had that option to choose. I am free to choose. They wouldn't have had that option to be free to choose. I attract only what is best for my highest good. Sometimes they weren't put in positions where they could necessarily see that on a daily basis, with lives being controlled, with people being treated as property, as animals, people being ripped of their humanity, people whose spirits were constantly trapped and kept hostage. They found ways to move past that, though. Why? How do we know that? Right? Because we're living. We're living. So we know that to be true. So we give thanks. We give thanks to our ancestors for what they endured because we're here. And so when I look at my mother's relationship, or I look at my grandmother's, because I have moments of thinking about those things and my grandmother, and sadness and things they would have encountered and things they've told me, and me looking at how things didn't work out necessarily the way they wanted them to work out, but they worked out the way they were supposed to work out for their spirit journey. But I start to mold myself in that way, or I start to think, okay, this is who I am. When in reality, I can break those cycles. I can break those cycles of only settling for certain things or only feeling like I deserve certain things. It's up to me to break those particular cycles. I do that for my daughter, or I do that for my son. I do that for the next generation. I do that for my spirit, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to break cycles from those who have been here before us. That's what they want us to do. The lightness, the heaviness is created by difficult circumstances and in difficult situations. It becomes like a weight. Every time we decide to rejoice, every time we decide to find hope, we lift that energy up. And we lift it off those from the past too. Because we're working in tandem. And I'm going to talk about this another time, where we work in tandem with our ancestors to correct spiritually and energetically pains from the past. Things from the past can still be healed energetically. Let's not forget that. So Spirit is saying, I am free of the habits that do not serve me. I am free of thinking of myself in a certain way. I am free of treating my body a certain way. I am free of having sex with men I don't know and men I don't love, or, don't care anything about me. They don't give me anything. Me giving my body away to them. Me poisoning my body with drugs and alcohol. Hurting my spirit. Lessening myself so that I don't have communication with spirit. Lessening myself so that my heart is constantly hurt, right? What happens when your heart is constantly hurt? How are you operating properly in life like that? You're not. You might be having fun, and it might be all smiles, but when you sit down with yourself at night when it's quiet, when you start to think about yourself, when you start to think about those things, that's where the real answers lie. That's where the healing is. I'm not talking about being ashamed of what you've done and where you've been. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about recognizing your spirit and recognizing when your heart is hurting. Lay down the armor passed down to you from your family. I know too, for me being a black woman, it's a hardness that we have to have in society. I don't know about anybody else, but I know it's not just exclusive to being black. I know minorities would have it. And then even white women, European women would also have these type of things too, because we all are dealing with trauma. We all are healing from trauma. But I know for sure in my case, it's a way that I have to carry myself in the world. It's a way I have to walk out the door. It's a way that I have to present myself when I start a new job. It's a way that I have to present myself when I'm engaging with new people, right? And so you're always on alert. You're always watching. You're always, seeing your environment, making sure that you're safe. But when you come into your own home, when you've created your environment here, you should be able to take that armor off. We want to take it off when we walk out the door, and that comes with strength and with power and fortitude and the protection of our ancestors as we move forward into this crazy world that we live in. But when we come into our homes, we don't want to still have the armor on. We don't want to shield ourselves, from our hearts. We don't want to live like that. Because we never know who we truly are if we're living like that, if we're living tight up like that, if we have iron across our hearts, if we said no entry, nothing beautiful can come my way, nothing loving can come my way. And it's harder to do when you live in a world and you live in a society, especially with your history being a certain way, where you already perceived to be something that you're not. Because I'm telling you, you're not. You're beautiful. But you're already perceived to be something. And so not only do you have to let yourself know that, you have to realize that the world not necessarily is going to realize that. And that's the thing too. We can't depend on the world to tell us who we are either. That's the importance about coming in with that strength of self and who we are on the inside. The deal, clearing. And that one was acceptance, Siberian fur. Sorry if I haven't showed it to you. I'll show you the other ones as well. And we have deal, clearing. None of this matters. That's a trigger statement. None of this matters. Who gives a shit? I mean, really, that's the easy way out. You know, you can always just say, who gives a shit? You know, nothing's going to work out. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. I got to get this done. I don't got time to worry about this stuff. True statement. I am clear. Feel as any external energy is cleared from you in your space. You are energetically pure and can focus on the task at hand. It does matter. Our spirits do matter. Who we are matters. What we do on this planet matters. We matter. We are important. We're here because we're important. We're here because we matter and that we have something to do. I don't care who you are. What you do has purpose. What you do has meaning. Who you are is special and unique, and it's just you. So whatever you're supposed to do, only you can do it. So it does matter. It does matter that we clear our energy. It does matter that we don't hold on to negative things from the past. It does matter that we drop the armor and get to know ourselves and get to know our beautiful spirits. It does matter. And so these were the other cards. If you want to take a look, this is Siberian fur, acceptance. Forgive ourselves, right? Forgive ourselves for mistakes from the past, things that we did that didn't go right, things that we did that could have been harmful to ourselves, to others. Lessons learned, mistakes made. Spirit, what I learned was difficult. Most High, I ask to help you, if you can help me move forward. Let's move forward past mistakes that were made, loves that were painful, people that were hurt in the process. Like I said, hurting our own bodies, hurting our own minds. Mistakes were made. But the wisdom, as we look into the masculine energy, comes from understanding the mistakes, learning from them and moving forward. It doesn't come from sitting in them. Some lessons in life and some answers aren't found anywhere but in the heart and in the mind, the spiritual mind, okay? And this was the Melaleuca, which is the evolution. We're changing. I attract only what is for my highest good. We're changing. We're evolving. We're different than what we were. We're different than what we were yesterday. We're always changing. I'm a different woman than I was last night. You know, I have difficult moments too. I have to come out of those things. Spirit puts me in those moments where I have to confront my shadow quite often. Every time I come up out of my shadow, I'm evolving as we work towards independence. This is always what we're working towards. That doesn't mean you're alone. That means that you know who you are on the inside. That means you have a strength that's unshakable, and you can walk into that world. Masculine energy, wisdom. It doesn't make sense. Working on seeing the big picture. You are moving towards a deeper level of understanding from knowledge to wisdom. Take time to absorb the lessons. So that to me makes me realize too that the lessons have been somewhat difficult. And when lessons are difficult, it's a tendency to want to hide from them, disengage completely, or to act like things aren't existing, things aren't going on. It's a denial. You're not learning if you're denying things that are happening around you. You're not learning if you are not opening up your heart space, opening up that spiritual mind to diagnose the conditions of your environment. Black pepper, I am trapped. Integrate. That's what it says at the top. True statement, I am whole. Allow the parts of yourself you hide to make themselves known. In the light, you will see the wisdom they hold. So here we have a situation where Spirit is saying it's time to come out now. It's time to come out now. You've had enough time to analyze it. Right? Knowledge, You've had enough time to analyze it. You've had enough time to do the stats. Do the whatever it is the logical mind would do. But Spirit is saying it's time to access the spiritual body, the spiritual mind, and to step out of that place that you've been before. It's like we were talking about with that evolution. It's confronting the darkness and confronting those scary elements and moving out of it. Spirit says, show yourself. Show yourself for who you are. And I guarantee you this, when you show yourself for who you truly are, because you feel trapped, because this card says that means that you're in a situation where you have to hide. Sorry, I had that on. You have to hide elements of who you are. The scary thing about hiding elements of who you are is that you get to the point where you don't remember who you were. You've hidden yourself for so long. That's scary. That means that you are in a position to become somebody else entirely. You become somebody else entirely. I don't know about that. That's a little scary to me. In the light, you will see the wisdom that they hold. Spirit is saying, come on out now. Show yourself for who you are. And that's what I was going to say earlier, since I get off track. When you show yourself for who you are, the room might clear completely. And you might be alone. But even in that alone state, you're never alone, because you have yourself, and you have your guides, and you have Spirit, and you have the Most High, you have your angels. I can go on. But then there might be one person or two people that might say, don't be afraid of who you are. Don't be afraid of that innermost part of yourself. Don't be afraid of that childlike spirit that you have. Don't be afraid of that energy that could be healing to other people. It's nothing more healing than seeing somebody step out of a situation where they were trapped in. You have lessons to share with other people. It's something scary about being trapped. We don't want to stay there, right? And sometimes logic doesn't get us out of trap situations. We can't use logic necessarily. In some cases we can. You don't like a job? Just apply for a new one, right? But sometimes we can get trapped in the trap is more of a spiritual lesson. It's not just a practical thing. Boom, 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 it's done. It's things that trap us from the past. If we go back to that energy for the feminine, it's things that trap us from the past. It's ideas of who we have, of ideas of who we are from the past, ideas of what people have told us, society is telling us, the world is telling us. Those things make us trapped. And if we don't access the higher knowledge, which is the wisdom, then we're in a really tough spot. And so Spirit is saying you're going to have to find a way to come up out of that energy. Slowly start to show yourself. If it's difficult, slowly start to show pieces of yourself. I am tired of it all. Trigger statement, basil, inspiration, being inspired by life, being excited about new journeys and new adventures, not being worn down and pessimistic about, the future of things and giving up. I'm tired of it all. True statement, I find strength in my purpose. First, you need to understand that you are important and your true self holds the purpose, right? It's not held in the self-created. It's not held in the self that this commercial told us, or that this whatever document or whatever, whoever, whatever, this person told us, that person told us, the world told us. It's not held in that. It's held in the heart space. We know when we start to access who we are, that inner wisdom, that's what the purpose is. Please rest and know that in this stillness, you will find clarity around your purpose here. The need to cope will fall away as you find the questions you are the answer to. Oh, I love that. The questions you are the answer to. Because best believe we all are here to answer questions. We all are here to teach. We all are here to learn. We all are here to grow. We all are here to provide guidance, big or small. That's what we're here to do. But we can't feel trapped, and we can't feel like we don't have anything to offer. We can't run away from our purpose. We can't run away from those innermost parts of ourselves that provides the true knowledge, which is the wisdom, right? Spirit says you need to be still. You need to find moments to meditate or just be quiet with yourself. Get to know yourself. Be quiet in your environment. Look around. Get to know the people that are around you. Get to know your work circumstances. Get to know the people that you're engaging with, your friendships. Be quiet. Be quiet around people. It's powerful. It's powerful when you're quiet. Because not only are you getting information from what you're saying in your mind, people are saying things. People are talking and just saying things, especially when you're quiet. They don't know what you have up your sleeve or what you're thinking. So they talk more and more. So it's good to talk. It's good to be quiet in your environments to see what people really have to say. That's a good way to gauge who's around you and what they have to offer you. And are they healing for you or are they hurting you? We do not stay in situations where people are hurting us. That is a no-go. Do you hear me? We don't do that. What type of life is that if we're living in? This is for the masculine and feminine energy. This is what this reading is about. It's holding ourselves to the past. It's holding ourselves to things that hurt us. It's allowing those things to dictate who we are here, right now. When we're evolving constantly. Purification. Their opinion matters to me. That's a rough one. We're looking for others to tell us who we are. We're looking to be validated by others. We're looking to receive recognition. We're looking to receive this and that from this person. Who are they? Who are they? What's their spirit about? Who is this person that's telling me who I am and telling me what to do? Quiet yourself. That way you can find out who they are and if they're telling you the right thing or the wrong thing. True statement. I see things in a new way because we're cleansing here with this purification card. As you release external influences and energy, you will become clear with regard to what is needed. So the feminine is dealing with the past, and the masculine is dealing with the present. It's an interesting energy there, which is also the past, too, because it's going to be how you felt about yourself and what you told about yourself in relation to what people are telling you now. If you never sit down and you're quiet, if you're never quiet, and you don't know who you are, and you don't allow yourself to be seen, so you don't know who you are in the quiet, and you don't know who you are on the outside, navigating in the world, then you're a puppet. You're a puppet. You're anything. You're anybody. You're anything they want you to be. Do you understand that? You what they want you to be. You what they want you to be at this moment, at this time, for this particular purpose. And they want you to be over here at this moment, at this time, for this purpose. That's scary. When we think about nightmares and we think about terror and we think about those things, to me, because of my history and my ancestors, it's nothing scarier to me than being in situations where we're being controlled and manipulated. It's not good. The feminine energy, manipulated and controlled by the past and by things that were done before her. The masculine energy, manipulated by ways they feel about themselves from the past. And even still, because you're not ready to show yourself and to come out of it and to access those parts of yourself that only can be accessed by showing who you truly are and standing in who you truly are. The world manipulates through telling you, whispering in your ear, I need you to do this. This is if you do this and you'll find success. If you do this, you'll have everything you want in life. Those things, right? And so, similar lessons. This is my reading too. I work with past. I work with the past energies. And I have a hard time when I've been hurt coming up out of that and putting up an armor. And I think about my mother and I think about my grandmother and I wonder certain things. We can't stay there. We can't stay there, loves. We cannot stay there. It's no hope and there's no healing in staying in the past. And there's no hope and healing in staying hidden. Let's get energy for the feminine. Let's get a card. Thank you, Spirit, for this message for the day. What energies do you have for the feminine? And this is not a traditional love reading. This is not that type of channel. It's not this person is coming towards you. This person did this. This person did that. This karmic is this. We're not looking at other people. We're looking at ourselves. We're looking at our healing. Because this reading, whether it's masculine or feminine, when I talk about balancing both sides, that card with the masculine, that's what I'm working on now. Me being here is me showing myself to you. And me showing myself to the world. And navigating in the world in my fullness. I'm working on it, slowly but surely working on it. So both of these lessons need to be integrated. That's that integration that we were talking about. What messages do we have for the feminine? And love is a beautiful thing. And, I'm not discounting romantic readings. Those things are beautiful. And I might, do those as well. But I really steer more... My reading style is more about healing the spirit. That's what I'm here to do. I can't do the he said, she said type of stuff. I just can't. Because there's no growth in that. There's no growth in waiting on somebody because somebody said this and this person's with this person and they're not coming your direction because they're with this person, whatever. We can't heal if we're doing those things. We're just sitting still. Messenger, hawk. Spirit is sending you messages. Open your greater vision to see the signs. Focus on priorities and eliminate distractions. You have a bright future. Let yourself ascend to new heights. The feminine energy. That's that independence that we're talking about. Priorities. Believing that you have a higher purpose. Believing that your life is meant for something beautiful. Believing that you're moving in the right directions as you're healing. Letting those guards down, opening your heart up to your guides so you can listen to those messages to move you forward. Opening your greater vision, looking for signs, believing that there are signs for you, believing that Spirit is speaking to you. Spirit says you have a bright future. Let's fly like that eagle, right? Oh, I'm sorry, it was a hawk. The raptors, my favorites. I love vultures too. All right, let's see what the masculine energy. Let's get a card for the masculine energy. Spirit, thank you so much. And thank you again for being with me. I'm just getting this channel started, and I start and I stop, but I feel happy when I'm doing it. And so whether one person's looking or two or nobody at all, it's a blessing to be able to get the energy out there. All right. Fire. The Tiger energy. I choose to be unstoppable. My passion is my power. I am bold. I am brave. Mighty forces come to my aid. You have to be brave to show yourself as you truly are. You have to be brave to operate with fire. And I think this is it too. Because maybe it's something about you that is so powerful and so passionate that it might be difficult or others might not understand it if you show yourself in your true nature. Maybe others might be overwhelmed for it or overwhelmed by it. But they're not meant to be in your company then, right? This is a powerful energy. My passion is my power. How can we know what we're passionate about if we're hiding all the time? How can we know our true passions if we're hiding? Or if we're hiding the passion? If we're hiding our passions. Your power is found in expressing yourself passionately as you truly are. Things that give you fire. Didn't we see something in here with that? That inspiration card. I find strength in my purpose. I am tired of it all, the trigger statement. Losing the passion, losing the fire. Or believing that life doesn't offer any passion or fire. Spirit is saying you have the passion of fire with you, in you. It's there. You have to be courageous to bring it out. You have to show yourself. Once you start showing yourself, you're activated. Choose to be unstoppable. That fear becomes power. It changes. You evolve. Just like that. And then both are experiencing a rebirth. That was on the bottom just now. You can reinvent yourself. Open to the rewards of change. You have brilliance to share with the world. Love every part of your journey. The past, while it is the past, we still learn from it. We're still learning now. We don't hold ourselves to things that are painful. We learn from them and we try to move forward, but we don't deny them. And we don't have shame with who we are, right? We keep moving forward. We give thanks. All right. As our candle is still lit, we're asking the angels for protection as we move forward to greater courage and strength, inspiration and passion, as we look to move on from negative things from the past, as we look to heal ancestral traumas. That's my purpose. Some of us, that's the purpose. All right? And so we give thanks. All right? Until next time, love you. Take care.